Up a baseball heavy podcast today with baseball in full swing. Chris Graham here, Augusta Free Press. We're going to talk. Gosh, we're going to start with the Baltimore Orioles. We'll talk some Washington Nationals, of course, UVA baseball as we're heading towards the postseason ACC tournament this week. Hopefully, NCAA tournament next week for the Who's, and then a couple other things we'll get into as well. Let's start with the Baltimore Orioles. The unsettling news from this past weekend. On Saturday, the O's parting ways with recent longtime manager Brandon Hyde. He'd been around since 2019, so that's a long time enough. A lot of folks don't remember, who was the manager before that. It's been a while. Hyde coming on when Mike Elias was named the general manager back in 2018. Hyde let go after back-to-back playoff seasons, but then this season's disappointing to say the least start. He was 15 and 28 as the manager. I had written a column Friday night suggesting that he might have 2 weeks left with the O's scheduled no off days until June the 2nd, I believe it is. I thought, well, he'll get 2 more weeks to get this turned around, and if he doesn't get it turned around, he's done. Wrote that Friday night, Saturday morning, late Saturday morning. Word was, nope, no more 2 weeks. He's done now. In the midst of what turned out to be a home series sweep set of losses to the Washington Nationals. And in fact, the Saturday and Sunday games didn't go well at all. I think the final scores were 10-6 and 10-4, and neither game was as close as those scores would indicate. The Nats got out to big leads early in both games and put those games away. So what about Brandon Hyde? Well, Hyde, back-to-back playoff appearances, 101 wins in 2023, AL Manager of the Year, and now he's gone. And uh, looking at how things are going to go for the O's the rest of the season, I mean, they still have a lot of talent on this roster at 15 and 30 now, though. I mean, you could play good baseball. 600 if 45 games with 117 left, if you win 70 games, that'd be 70 and 47. There's still going to be an 85 win team. That may not get you in the playoffs, and that would be a close to 600 winning percentage for a long period of time. It just kind of shows you how much behind the eight ball this team is. Uh, the the hard part to that then, yeah, is just, is this season salvageable? I'm not so sure. If it's not salvageable, then what is the future of Mike Elias himself, the architect of this recent rebuild? A lot of thought that he, you know, fired Brandon Hyde because that's what a general manager does when a team expected to be a playoff team, which again, that was the projection going into the season for the O's that this would be another playoff team. Uh, yeah, and you are 15 and 30 now, with a horrible run differential. I mean, just everything else about this is not working out well for this franchise. It's an issue with the biggest issue for this team is the pitching, to be honest. And so that getting rid of the manager doesn't change the lack of pitching. There have been a lot of injuries. Certainly, Grayson Rodriguez out, hasn't pitched yet this season. He was the team's ace last year. Didn't re-sign Corbin Burns, who was the other ace last year. Let him walk on a free agent contract. And so yeah, I don't know that firing the manager does much other than rearrange the deck chairs, but we shall see, certainly, as far as that goes. So a couple of analysis pieces that we did. Actually, first let's talk about a little bit more MLB news, and then we'll get into the analysis pieces, one of which is an MLB piece. A UVA baseball alum, Chris Taylor. If you're a UVA baseball fan, you probably are if you're watching slash listening to me here with all the coverage we give to UVA athletics. Chris Taylor, the guy who, when he was at UVA, had one of the biggest hits in UVA baseball history, a walk-off that sent Virginia to the 2011 College World Series, beating a Cal Irvine team, a ninth inning comeback. and Taylor got the game-winning single to win that game and send Virginia to the World Series. Uh, when he was at UVA, I didn't see him as a long-time MLB player to say the least. He was a career. What were his numbers? I had him here. Career 296 hitter at UVA in 2 seasons. I mean, decent numbers. Career OPS, when I add the numbers up, will be 806 at UVA. So, those aren't jump off the charts numbers to say, yeah, definite MLB prospect here, but he worked his way into the bigs, latched on with the Dodgers in 2016, and had a pretty good career to date. He's 34 years old now. And man, you look at his 20 he was a 2017 NLCS co-MVP. He hit a walk-off homer in the 2021 NL wildcard game. He had a three-homer game in the NLCS in 2021. Won two World Series with the Dodgers while he was out there. He signed a 4-year, $16 million contract with the Dodgers after the 2021 season at the conclusion of a 5-year stretch where he was pretty good. His slash line was 265, 345, 456. So that would be an 801 OPS in the MLB. With 78 homers, he had four double-digit home run seasons in that run. 234 extra base hits, 50 stolen bases, 14.6 wins above replacement in that stretch. And he was versatile during that stretch, getting started at second base, third base, shortstop, and all three outfield positions. I mean, this was a dude. This has been a dude. I shouldn't say was because, ostensibly could still, he's a free agent now, can sign on. But yeah, the Dodgers cutting ties. The Dodgers have an embarrassment of riches of talent. He only got 35 plate appearances with the Dodgers this spring. And so released to make way for young guys to come up. Last year, his numbers had started deteriorating. Uh, a career low batting average of 202. His OPS was just 598. And so, yeah, he's a free agent and can sign with any team. The Dodgers paid out the rest of the final year of his contract, so he won't be hurt. But yeah, he's been released, and so that's some UVA baseball news. And yeah, Chris Taylor's a guy that let's say it. I mean, he's given money back, lots of money back to the UVA baseball program that helped him get to where he is now. He's one of those guys like Ryan Zimmerman, like Sean Doolittle, who've uh, you know, put the cash where their hearts are, helping the program, both the individual players, the equipment of the program, the stadium accommodations. They've been guys who've been big contributors there, and Chris Taylor's certainly one of those guys. So want to see him keep playing. 34 years old. He's probably got a couple more good years in him. A guy who's performed and performed well on the big stage in playoff time. So you'll see him get picked up. As I'm talking here, he may already be in the works. I mean that something like that may already be in the works. So um, let's see. We're going to jump around here a little bit. I did an analysis piece yesterday. Since we'll stick on the topic of UVA baseball. Um, the 2025 season not going as well for the Who's as certainly projected. Coming off of back-to-back College World Series, UVA baseball was preseason as high as number two in the various national polls. College baseball's got so many national polls. In basketball and football, you've pretty much got AP and the USA Today coaches poll. In baseball, you've got five national polls, so that are recognized as national polls. But yeah, UVA was a consensus top five, and again, as high as number two in the preseason, with so many guys coming back, a pitching staff that looked like it was ready to go. And at one point this season, Virginia was 20 and 15. So that was very much not NCAA tournament worthy, much less, College World Series return worthy. Finishing out though 12 and 2 in the regular season, 10 and 2 in the ACC down the stretch. And Virginia goes from 6 and 9 in the ACC and back of the pack to finishing 16 and 11, getting the number 6 seed in the ACC tournament, which starts tomorrow. I'm recording this on Monday, so it starts tomorrow. It's going to play out unlike conference tournaments, baseball tournaments we've seen in recent years. The formats have adjusted over the years from For a good while there were there were actually four team pools, I think it was for a while there. You were guaranteed three games, and then there would be a quick double elimination at the end of that. When the conference grew, it grew to what was it, five three-team pools? I can't remember what it was. But basically you're guaranteed two games, and then there'd be a tournament after that. Now it's just everybody who makes it, 15 teams who make it, single elimination tournament. And so it'll be very much like the ACC basketball tournament format that we're familiar with. A bunch of first round games on Tuesday tomorrow between the lower seeds, the 10 through 15 seeds. Then second round action on Wednesday. Virginia's in that mix of it as the sixth seed. Then Thursday's quarterfinals. I mean, you basically one and done. Everybody who loses, you're gone. You're done. Virginia actually had a chance to get a top four seed, get a double bye. I mean, going from 6-9 in the ACC and 20-15 overall, almost played their way in. I mean, I think if we're doing the math on this, if they just swept Tech this past weekend instead of taking two of three, Virginia would have been in the top four. But in any case, Virginia did get the series win, which was important, a road series win, improving the numbers in the computers. Um, I think that the finish of the season, the series win at Virginia Tech, what would it be? The sweep over Miami, another team that's probably going to be an NCAA. I think pretty easy to say Miami's going to be an NCAA tournament team. The winning two or three at Georgia Tech, which ended up winning the ACC regular season with a 19-11 record, a game and a half better than UVA. Shows how close things were to top. That the sixth place team was a game and a half back. I think that's enough for Virginia. I did do, and this is all on the Augusta Free Press website, still on the front page, easily accessible, and certainly on the front page of the baseball section of AFP. I did a breakdown of all the 11 ACC teams in the mix for NCAA tournament bids. I'm not sure all 11 will get in. Notre Dame is the 11th team of the 11. Average computer ranking of 46.4. That's probably a little too low, but the 10th team, Miami, 38.9 average computer ranking, Virginia 37.6, Louisville 36.9, NC State at 33.6. You go up then Wake Forest, Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Carolina looks like with an average computer ranking of 5.2, pretty clear going to be a top 16 national seed, probably a top 8 national seed. I'm surprised to see that the rankings have Florida State consensus top 10 and a lot of top fives. Their computer ranking average is only 19.0. More love from the voters than from the computers for the Seminoles. Georgia Tech, the regular season champion, an average computer ranking of 16.3. Not as much love from the voters for Georgia Tech. Duke and Clemson are right, they're top 25 both in the polls and on the periphery of the top 25 down there in the 20 to 25 range in the computers. So, lots of good programs, maybe not the depth that we've seen in recent years. Last year, for example, four teams making it to Omaha, Virginia among them. I don't know that we have. I mean, Carolina's going to be a favorite to get to Omaha. I don't know about the rest this year, but Virginia's playing as well as anybody. Let's put it that way. 12-2 again down the stretch, 10-2 in the ACC. The slight bit of pause, I did mention this in the column. The 12-2 record is since April 22nd. So I think the recency factor will be very helpful to the Virginia cause. The thing that will detract is there were some bad losses earlier in the season, but still they're on the record. Home and home midweek losses to Liberty. Liberty's average computer ranking is 83.7. I mean, Liberty's a team that's going to compete for the CUSA tournament championship, and that will be an automatic bid. So Liberty could very well be a NCAA tournament team, but that average computer ranking of 83.7, sweeping Virginia effectively, winning one midweek in Charlottesville, one midweek in Lynchburg. That's not going to help Virginia, to say the least. The series loss at home to Boston College, losing two of three at home back in early March to Boston College. with an average computer ranking of 104.6. Not helpful at all. And the midweek loss at home to Richmond, and who at the time was 19 and 2 in terms of their overall record, but they've slipped a bit since, and their average computer ranking is 143.0. That's not helpful. That's all before April 22nd, though. As far as this week goes, yeah, obviously win a game or two and you continue to enhance your resume. I don't know that a loss, necessarily is deadly at this stage. I think the resumes are pretty much what they are. Virginia's a two or a three, probably a three seed when it comes to regional weekend. And there's really no difference between a two or a three. It's just which dugout you sit in when you play your first game on Friday of the regional weekend. But my thinking is it's more than worrying about winning games to get in the tournament. If I'm Brian O'Connor, I just want to win a couple of games so I can get my pitching staff set up for next weekend. I'd love to get Jay Woolfolk, who's been pitching really well of late. I'd love to get him a start. Of course, he will. He'll start. I assume he's starting Wednesday's game in the ACC tournament against the winner of Boston College and Notre Dame. I would love to get, to me, Tomas Valencia is the freshman lefty is the solid number two. He's been starting on Sundays in ACC play, but he's your other top starter. He'd be my number two guy. He'd be the guy who would get to start for me on Saturday in an NCAA tournament regional. Get those two guys starts, and then hey, win those. Let's win those two games, and then we can figure out what we want to do for the number three starter. Right now, the two candidates there are Bradley Hodges and Evan Blanco. Um, rough couple of starts lately for Bradley Hodges. His season numbers 2-1, 4.88 ERA. Evan Blanco's season numbers are not as good, 3-5, 5.92. He was last year's number one starter, remember. Has been really dealing with injuries and kind of, getting the feel back from, post injury. But his last couple of long relief appearances have been pretty good. So I like Blanco. If it's me, I'd go with Blanco as my number three, but I'd love this week for Virginia baseball to get a couple of W's, get Woolfolk and Valencius to get you to, I guess that'd be Friday, and then let's see what happens. If you go win the thing, fine, and if you do that and you get Blanco and Hodges to get a start, perhaps, or go with staff day on if you get to Saturday in the championship game. Uh, you're really set up for next week because the NCAA tournament doesn't start until Friday of next week. So you'd love to get your guys work and get your bats, get some consistency there. The offense has been playing pretty well lately, um, and see what happens next weekend. But you got to get through this week first. So of course we'll have coverage on AFP of the ACC tournament with a focus on Virginia as this week plays out. So let's see. The final topic then for us here on our all baseball podcast today, first of the, hopefully not last of the spring/summer. I did an analysis piece looking at where the Washington Nationals are at year five of the rebuild. So, I'm a Nats fan. Have been since Ryan Zimmerman was drafted. What was it? He was number three in the first. I think it was either three or four in the first round of 2005. Boy, you think I would have that number committed to memory? He was at the very top of the draft. He ended up getting called up later that year in September. Hit 392. Never went back to the minor leagues. They brought him up for seasoning, and they thought, hey, this will give him a chance to get a leg up to, compete for a spot in spring training. Never went back. Um, so that's 20 years. I mean, it's the Nats have had a great 2010s decade, five playoff appearances, four division titles, one wild card. The wild card year is the year they won the World Series 2019, and it's hard to figure now that we're 5 years into a rebuild. Really, maybe six. This could be the sixth year. You could say 2020, the COVID year. Everybody was thrown off that year. And so I don't know if I count that as because there were still dudes there. Soto was still around. Turner and Scherzer were still around. They were still trying to win games in 2020. The breakdown started, the teardown, I should say, started with the trade in 2021 of Scherzer and Turner to the Dodgers at the trade deadline. I remember I was at a Waynesboro Generals Stanton Braves Valley League game when that news broke, and it was just like, here we go. I would not have thought that night, man. It was like, July 30th or 31st, whichever one of those 2 days before the trade deadline of 2021, that I'd still be, it would be May 19th, 2025, and I'd still be talking about a rebuild. You'd think that things work faster than that, but they don't. Um, so the Nats this year, coming off mentioned earlier in the podcast, the three-game sweep of the Orioles, reeling Orioles, who fired their manager. The baseball prospectus PECOTA projection algorithm isn't giving much credence to the current 21 and 27 record for the Nats. PECOTA is still projecting a 69 win finish for the Nats this year. Fangraphs is a little nicer, 73 wins. It's still under 500. You can forgive us, Nats fans, for being impatient in year five of the rebuild. That we're still talking about. I mean, the last 2 years have had 71 win seasons, and this year we're still in that same range. Um, that said, I like a lot of what Mike Rizzo has in place. I feel like we're just a piece or two away from maybe being a fringe contender in a year. The first two pieces I'll talk about are two of the centerpieces of the Juan Soto 2022 trade. James Wood, left fielder, 22 years old. CJ Abrams, the 24-year-old shortstop. Um, both are putting up good numbers so far this year. Wood has 1.8 wins above replacement already this season. 279 batting average, 909 OPS, 12 home runs. Abrams missed a few games on the injured list, so he's only through 35 games. 1.5 WAR through 35 games. 312 batting average, 942 OPS, 8 homers, great defense at center field. Those are two dudes right there that you're going to build around. I like the second baseman, Luis Garcia. This season, off to a slow start. He's been hitting of late, though. His numbers are getting back up. He had a 2.2 WAR last season, hit 282 with a 762 OPS last season. I like having him around. And he's under team control for what would be 2 more years after this season. So the middle infield's pretty secure with Garcia and Abrams. The corner outfield positions as of right now, you got James Wood in the left, you've got Dylan Cruz in the right. Now Cruz, the number two overall pick in 2023, his numbers aren't great. He's 190, he's hitting 191, 589 OPS, 6 homers, 11 stolen bases. He's hitting in spurts. A young guy, maybe rushed him up a little bit. He was, doing too well at AAA to leave him there. He's adjusting at the big league level. He's going to be a dude though. He's got a plus bat. He's a plus base runner. He's a plus fielder. Eventually, he's going to play center field in the big leagues. He's a guy to build around. The catcher, Keber Ruiz, is signed through 2030, hitting a career high 280 this season. And so he's a foundation piece. There's still work to do around the everyday lineup. Brady House, the 2021 first round pick directly out of high school. He's raking in AAA. His OPS is 841. He's got 8 homers. Had a couple of games last week, I think it was, where he had the multiple home run games. So he may be up leader this season at third base. We'll see. After the trade deadline, you may see him get called up in August. The pitching staff has got some guys. Another guy from the Juan Soto trade, Mackenzie Gore, current NL strikeouts leader with 84. He's 2-4 in terms of win-loss record, but all of his other numbers are really solid. 1.5 WAR, 3.67 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, 13.4 Ks per nine innings, which also leads the bigs right now. Jake Irvin is pitching really well, pitching kind of above his pay grade right now. 28-year-old is with a staff best 1.6 WAR, 3-1 loss record, 3.88 ERA. Lefty Mitchell Parker has been a pleasant surprise. This guy came up last year sort of because, hey, his spot his rotation spot in the minors fit to where the Nats needed an emergency starter. He pitched well. He got another start. He pitched well in the next start. He hung around for a while, and he's around. 25-year-old lefty is this season 3-3, 4.32 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Not the best stuff in the world, but he gets it done. So. I look at the staff that you see there. I mean, Gore is a frontline starter. He's a potential ace. There's another ace that we're not going to probably see any more this year, any this year. Josiah Gray, the 2023 All-Star, one of the guys picked up in the Scherzer Trey Turner deal with the Dodgers back in 2021. He only pitched a couple of games last year, had Tommy John surgery. There's no really any reason to rush him back this year. I understand he's progressing as expected for a guy with Tommy John. Maybe you could, see him in relief or, start with a pitch count in September, but I don't know. There's no reason really to do that. Just get him ready for next year. But if he comes back anything like he was before he got hurt, now a lot of guys do come back from Tommy John and pick back up right where they left off. Him and Gore is one and two. I think it'd be Gore one and Josiah Gray two, but they both got, ace stuff. That'd be pretty good top of the rotation. You'd have Irvin and, Parker. They're all under team control for a while. Um, those guys are good middle of the rotation guys. You pick up one other guy to mention then from the Soto trade pickup, a guy named Jarlin Susana. Followed him really closely when he was down at Fredericksburg. He was only 18 when he was part of that trade with for Soto. Big guy, 6'6", 235. His fastball tops out at 103 miles an hour. He's right now he's been used as a starter. He's now in Double A at Harrisburg. I think he probably projects more as a reliever. Probably, with that stuff, you get him to the right place. He's going to be a closer. Um, because he's not getting a lot of innings in his starts. He's this season 6 starts, 26 innings, so he's not shown any longevity. And so yeah, maybe with his electric stuff, he's going to end up being a back of the bullpen guy. But you got two aces, you got two middle of the rotation guys in your starting rotation. You got a guy in Double A who's projected to make it to the bigs by the 2026 season as a potential closer for you. And there's a lot here. I'm not sold on Jacob Young as your everyday center fielder going forward. He's a young guy who's plugging in now. I see Cruz moving over to center down the line, which what that does is it opens up. There's another bat you can put in right field. Right now, Nathaniel Lowe is manning first base, but he's a kind of a plug and play guy. You can go find another first baseman. Um, there's a lot to build around with this Nats group that I think we're going to see. So Rizzo's done a good job, and plus I can't forget that there's the number one pick in this year's. The Nats got the number one pick in this year's draft. Be curious. The other Holiday kid is projected as the top pick. He's a high school kid though. Seeing what I see here and thinking that this Nats team is ready to contend next year and certainly in 2027. Next year they better be better. Next year you got to be in a position to win 80 plus. And in 2027, that should be the year to be ready to, contend for a division title again. Do you bypass the high school kid and try to find the best college player who can maybe be up in a year or two, kind of like a Dylan Cruz, who's a 2023 a top pick. He was number two pick overall. He's already contributing at the big league level. If you could find a guy this year who could be part of 2027, that might be the way to go. Anyway, I like what I'm seeing, but in the end, it's time to start winning, and it's time to start winning more games now. So let's if you're a Nats fan, let's root for getting past those projections that either have us winning 69 games or 73. Let's see if we can make 81 a goal. Anyway, so all right, what did we talk about today? We talked about the Nats, talked about the O's. I have no answers for the O's. I don't know. There's the pitching is not good, but the lineup is way underperforming. That's got to change. Let's see. We talked Chris Taylor. Root for him to get another job somewhere here pretty soon. And UVA baseball. Let's keep playing some more baseball this spring. So, any case, if you have any questions for me, any comments, anything you want me to write about, look into anything like that, please feel free to email me at chris@augustafreepress.com.